Hola, bienvenidos a Joe Beast, del podcast para emprendedores que están dominando su industria.
Welcome guys to our new episode. So we're today here at Cocoon in El Paso. It's 4640 Donovan, right? Mm-hmm. And we're here with Rafa. What did you say your last name was?
Amézaga.
Amézaga.
Yep.
Big shout out to Victor Santillan, Victor Guapo Santillan, my good friend that put us in contact with Rafa.
Exactly, yeah.
I know you guys sponsored
Yes.
Victor as well for his fighting efforts. And he does a lot of treatment out here. I've seen it. I was a customer here too prior, and I love it. So thank you, Rafa, for joining us today and allowing us to record here at your premises.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for reaching out and having me here.
So can you tell us a little bit more about your business? What is it that you guys offer here?
Yeah, so for sure. So we're focused around wellness and recovery, something that's not very prominent here in El Paso. Other bigger cities for sure, but I think it's just catching on now in El Paso. So we focus on the recovery aspect. We offer several recovery treatments. The infrared sauna is one. We also offer the cold plunge. The tub's right back here. That's a big one that's gaining a lot of popularity. So we offer that. Compression therapy. We'll do the boots, the compression boots. And we're going to get sleeves. They have some sleeves as well. And they have an attachment for the hips. So, and that's just all compression. So we offer that. In addition to those, we offer several IV drips, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, for immunity, vitamin C, zinc. So we offer 5 or 6 different IV drips, and also B12 shots.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a little bit more about each one? Just kind of touch base on each one. So I've heard of the compression ones, but I actually don't know exactly what that is.
Yeah, for sure. So it's pneumatic. You hook up you slide the boots on, you hook it up to a low compressor, and it starts at your feet.
Okay.
And it's like a pulsing massage.
Okay.
And it works its way up your legs and then down, and then does the entire leg. And that's just meant for circulating your lactic acid. It'll circulate it through. It'll get it back into your lymphatic system, and then excrete it through your urine.
Okay.
So,
is it cold, warm, or?
No. So they do have some that are cold and warm. These are just normal.
Just compression?
Right,
Okay.
just compression, yeah.
Okay.
They don't have the heat or the cold. So that's what the compression is for.
And what about the infrared? Is that what you call it, infrared?
Yeah, infrared saunas.
So what's the difference between that and a conventional?
It's mostly in the way the heating elements. So a conventional sauna, it heats the air around you, so the ambient air. So it's kind of like, think of it being in an oven. For the conventional, they run a lot hotter. The conventional anywhere from maybe 180 to 200, 210.
Okay.
So it's really hot. Some people find it hard to breathe in there because it's like being in an oven, literally.
Right.
Whereas infrared, it uses full spectrum infrared. So it basically penetrates your skin into the cells, and it heats you from the inside out.
So like a microwave, huh?
Yeah, similar to that. And these run a lot cooler. They run, the hottest maybe is like 160.
Okay.
But even at the lower temperature, you sweat like crazy. And it's a lot more comfortable to be in. You can actually sit in there and breathe.
Yes, because I remember when I was younger and when my dad would take me to saunas, and then what's the other one called? The vapor one?
Yeah, the steam room.
Yeah. Man, I would get so claustrophobic. I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I would.
Right.
And they're not even that small. It's just the sensation of like you not being able to breathe because of the steam and
Yeah.
like the heat.
Yeah, and that's one of the major benefits of infrared is the ability for people to last a lot longer in there and be more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think the cold plunge is probably the one that most people are familiar with. So what are some of the benefits that people can get from the cold plunge?
So the cold plunge, one of the biggest things is it deals with your mood. You get in there and it increases your dopamine 2 to 3 times your base level within first minute of being in there. So dopamine is a feel-good chemical in your brain. It's a neurotransmitter. So it increases dopamine, so better mood. It also increases your epinephrine and norepinephrine. So those levels spike 2 to 3 times as well from base levels. Your epinephrine or norepinephrine, along with the spike, comes a lot of anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
So it's really good for inflammation throughout the body. For recovery is awesome for inflammation.
Just from what you mentioned, so I'm guessing it increases your focus as well.
Yeah, for sure.
There's one of the latest books that I read. I was actually telling Roland that it talks about how like the perfect cocktail for someone to be extremely focused and pay attention is dopamine and norepinephrine combined at at certain amounts.
Right.
It's crazy.
Right, and a lot of your SSRIs, your stimulants, Adderall, stuff like that. That's what those medications do, is increase your dopamine, your serotonin, norepinephrine. So you get that naturally here.
Naturally, yeah.
Just getting in the cold, yeah. So that's a lot of benefits, and inflammation. And it actually helps your sleep. When you get out, 3-4 hours maybe, you'll have that spike, the energy. But then at nighttime, you sleep like a baby. That's one of the biggest things I noticed using it consistently was the sleep. Your sleep gets so much better.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You feel like you fall asleep a lot faster, or you just don't wake up during the night as well?
Well, kind of both. You fall asleep as soon as you hit the pillow, and you tend to stay asleep.
Deeper sleep.
Right.
Like you get more rest out of it.
Yeah. Not
awesome.
Waking up throughout the night.
All right.
So those are some of
the IV drips. I know that you have a bunch of them, but more or less, what is it that usually people get out of these?
Yeah, so they're meant to be a supplement, kind of like taking a multivitamin orally. The advantage for the IV drip though is you get 100% absorption rate.
Right, because it's going in
the bloodstream, huh?
Right, straight to your bloodstream, straight to your tissues. Whereas something oral has to go through your digestive system, so you don't absorb 100% of what you're taking. So bioavailability is a big advantage, and the time, it's instant.
Right.
So
how does it compare with like intramuscular? Like, is the absorption still higher than?
Yeah. So intramuscular, like a B12 shot given intramuscular, might take about 2 days to start getting the full effect once it seeps into the muscle and into your system. Whereas an IV is straight into your blood vessels. So it's instant pretty much. So yeah, supplement, because not everybody's diet is the best. And even if you keep a clean diet, it's really hard to get everything you need. So it's meant as a supplement for recovery as well. Hydration, rehydration, stuff like that.
So what got you into all of this, Rafa? Can you give us a little bit of your background? Like, try to go as far back as you can when you first, figured out that you wanted to go more of like, I want to do my own thing.
We've got into Cocoon now, but like now let's kind of reverse engineer and let's get to know Rafa and how we got to this point, right? Like how did we get to starting Cocoon?
Yeah.
Let's start, like, are you from El Paso?
Yeah, born and raised, East Sider. I went to Malwood High School, class of 99. Played sports throughout high school. I was always active. Even before middle school is where it started. Football, baseball, soccer. So I've always been active. After high school, I tried UTEP for a semester, but I wasn't ready. I don't know. I felt like I had to get out and travel, do something to get out of my system, right? Yeah. So I joined the Navy. February 2000 is when I went to boot camp. And again, throughout my time in the Navy.
What a time to get into the military, huh?
Yeah, right before
9/11.
Right before 9/11, a year before 9/11.
Yep. You said class of 99?
Uh-huh.
So what, 42?
43. I just turned 43.
Hey, dude, you look younger.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably all this shit.
It's the cold and stuff. So yeah, went to the Navy. I spent 4 years active duty. Really active, working out always. And then came back 2004. and that's when I started going to community to start working towards my degree.
El Paso Community College?
Yeah, that's where I started. And the goal had always been to be a nurse.
Okay.
My mom was a nurse, so growing up, I always knew I wanted to be a nurse. So that was always the goal. So yeah, I started my basics at community. This whole time, I was in the Navy Reserve. Okay. So we would go and drill one weekend a month. And I got mobilized couple times. Once the war kicked off in 2003. So I mobilized twice to the Middle East. Ended up doing 6 years active, 6 years reserve with the Navy. The whole time going back and forth to school as I would get deployed.
Were you ever mobilized when you were active, like for the first 4 years?
Yeah, we went. So 2003, when this first started, the shock and awe.
Yeah.
That was we were in the middle in the Gulf, in the Persian Gulf, when that happened. I think it was January 2003, and we emptied our silos. All the missiles we had on board, all the Tomahawks, we shot them all that day for shock and awe. And that was the end of our deployment. We came back after that. And then with the reserves, I deployed to Bahrain, Dubai, that whole area. And then the last one, 2010, I was in Kuwait. And that was my last deployment with the Navy. Like I said, the whole time going to school. I finished community, and then I applied for the nursing program at UTEP, and I got accepted in 2008. So that's when I started going full-time to UTEP. And I graduated with my BSN in 2009.
Awesome.
So took my boards, and I was an RN. So at that time, I got picked up. I started working at a detention center as a registered nurse. That was my first nursing job. And then I found out about the U.S. Public Health Service. I had never heard of it the whole time I was in the Navy. I didn't know it was a uniformed service. Found out about it, so I applied, and they picked me up. And I got to continue my active duty service. So currently, I'm still active duty.
Yep.
So I have 17 years.
I'm assuming you commissioned at that time. Like you became a commissioned officer.
Yeah, commissioned in 2013.
Okay.
With the U.S. Public Health Service. So yeah, I'm still active duty. 3 more years, I'll be eligible to retire, and we'll see how it goes. I'm still kind of young.
Actually, I don't even know myself. I mean, I was in the military myself. I don't even know what the U.S. Public Service Health Service is. Tell us more about it.
So it's one of I think we have 8 uniform services now.
Okay.
So we have the Armed Forces, and then we have U.S. Public Health Service. We have NOAA, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Association. They're a uniform service as well. And there's another one. I can't remember the other one. But so instead of falling under Department of Defense, we fall under the Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay.
So we fall under the Surgeon General. And we get assigned to several agencies, or we can get detailed to a number of different agencies. FDA, CDC, NIH, the Indian Health Service.
So is there still any kind of relationship to the Navy, or is that like 100%?
It's its own service.
Oh wow!
It's the same rank structure as the Navy and the Coast Guard.
Oh wow!
Because those 3 are considered the seagoing services. So Navy, Coast Guard, and U.S. Public Health Service have the same rank, names. Yeah. The pay grades are all the same, but the names are different. And then your Army, Marine Corps, Air Force, they have same ranks, different names.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's uniform service, active duty, and I'm still doing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said you commissioned. So when you commissioned with the Navy, or you commissioned with the
with U.S. Public Health Service. Yeah. Okay. I was enlisted the whole time I was in the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're active duty here in El Paso.
Right. Here in El Paso. Yep. Okay.
And they work out of Fort Bliss, or?
They have different areas here. There's some FDA that are stationed downtown. Bureau of Prisons, La Tuna. Okay. There's some of us there. Or some of us work for ICE, for Immigration and Customs. Nice. And that's where I work. That's where I'm detailed right now. Cool. And have been since 2013.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So as part of today's dynamic, we're actually like both Andy and I are also gonna get on the cold plunges.
Cold plunge.
So we'll continue to talk while Andy does it for his first time.
All right, so I guess, yeah, so we're all gonna try the cold plunge, so I guess I'm gonna be the first one, but you guys keep your focus on that.
Andy, tell him what you said before we started, like you do MMA,
Oh, right, so by the way, this is my first time ever doing a cold plunge. I've never done this before, but I was telling them that, so I've done a lot of things that a lot of people would consider, that's definitely, something that would be completely out of my comfort zone, right? My eyeballs are tattooed. It's a very dangerous procedure to do. I practice MMA, with Roland as well. We go to sparring sessions, and that's usually, like what people really find completely out of the comfort zone, right? And I do all that. I've done extreme sports, snowboarding, a BMX bike, and none of that has made me feel the way I feel right now by getting in that cold plunge. For some reason, that this is really out of my comfort zone, but I'm gonna do it, right? Because it's good to get out of your comfort zone. So while you guys, continue talking,
So we'll have the other camera set up in the back so you can see Andy's reaction.
I need to turn on the shower first, right? I need to rinse off.
Yeah, you need to rinse off.
So get a quick rinse, and then you'll be ready to go.
Okay.
Cool. So Rafa, let's keep the talk going while we enjoy the show in the back with Andy. So we're up to 2013, right? You get commissioned. So you've been working at the same place,
right?
Going back to your like your high school years, going back to middle school or whatever. When was there any point in time where you felt like, hey, you know what, like I'm gonna be a business owner? Was there like if you had to go back and recall, like when was that like moment that you were like, you know what, eventually I will be a business owner? Like I think from all of our guests, we always have that. We know that everyone had that spark, that like little itch, where like they sold chocolates at school, or like they flip phones, or like something of that sort.
Yeah.
If you had to go back and reminisce on that, like when do you think it was like a point in time where you were like, hey, you know what, I was doing this?
So that's cold. That's already cold.
Yeah.
This is gonna be way colder, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So how do I get in? I get in through.
You can get in over here in the front.
Yeah.
And then just step in, and then lower yourself. Rest your head on that little cushion.
And enjoy.
Like I said, try to get clavicle deep. And your breathing is going to be the biggest thing. You're going to feel like you want to hyperventilate, but if you can control that breathing, it'll make it that much easier. Yeah.
So yeah, when like looking back, is there anything that you can say?
There you go. Nice. Control your breathing. Nice deep breaths.
It is tough.
Yeah, for sure.
He's doing good though.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't able to control my breathing like right away like he did.
Yeah.
So like the first time, so he's doing good.
Yeah, some people start to panic and they just jump out.
Yeah.
First 30 seconds are the hardest. Yeah. If you can last those first 30, it's not so bad. So yeah, to answer your question, to be honest, I never really thought about it as a kid. I would say it was after some time in the military, because you know how you had told me before, you're prior military yourself, so you know that everything is set for you, your schedule, everything. So all you have to do is show up and get to work. Yep. So very little thought goes into it, and you start to conform to it, right? Mm-hmm. But after a while, that you start getting tired of that. You start feeling like you can do things better than the people, your supervisors. So I would say it was after some time, you just get tired of working for other people. Yep. I was part owner of a CrossFit gym before, 2015. That was the first venture into my own business, yeah. And yeah, it was scary, it was risky. But at the same time, you felt accomplished seeing your business grow, all the connections you made. And that was, I guess that was really the
first
the first
contact was like entrepreneurship.
Being on your own. Yeah.
So you say you started that business in 2015. This is still going. Like, did you ended up like closing, selling?
Yeah. So COVID hit, and we lost a lot of our members because a lot of our members were Army, and when COVID hit, the Army didn't let them go to gyms outpost. So we ended up closing in 2020, and just sold off the equipment. And then I would say a couple of years later is when I started working out here right next door. At the gym here, Kingpin Athletics. So my friend Chito owns the gym. But this whole time, I never really focused or thought about recovery. Not at all. Maybe just protein for sure right after. But as far as other treatment modalities such as this, never crossed my mind. Until I started listening to podcasts. Rogan, Huberman, Jocko Willink, they would talk about it religiously. Cold plunge and sauna.
Yep.
So this space here used to be a jiu-jitsu gym, and then it was batting cages, and then it emptied out. And since I was working out right next door, listening to the podcast at the same time, I started getting an idea. There's nothing like this in El Paso. So why don't I use this space, buy a couple saunas, some cold plunges, and set up a recovery place? And that's how it all started.
That's awesome. Yeah. And kind of like I was telling you before, like when we first met, I'm a numbers guy, you know, and it totally makes sense because I was looking into getting one of those myself.
Right.
But I mean, then you have to worry about, like the keeping it on the electricity. So getting on a subscription with you guys, it's ideal. Because you end up spending way less money. You don't have to spend the whole money up front. You don't have to worry about it taking up space in your house.
Right.
There's like I said, it makes total sense, right? So like I highly recommend it. Like for everybody like that's looking into it. I know a lot of people try to go with the cheap, like tubs that you gotta dump ice. You end up spending more money.
Right.
And then time. And time is money. So. Yeah. I think it's ideal. Like anyone that wants to do it or is thinking about it, like they're like looking into like those cheaper inflatable ones, and it just doesn't make sense. I'd rather like be able to come in, get it done, and you get the top quality stuff. You get the best experience out of it.
Yeah, show up and go.
It's ready to go for you guys, and it's really cost efficient. Being able to do it for a volume base. Like for all the people that come through. It really makes sense for the user. So I love the idea. Like you said, like sometimes we go and spend time, putting in the work, but recovery is a big part of it.
Yeah,
so you can keep on going. So that's amazing. So when did you first open Cocoon?
So we opened April 1st of last year.
Okay.
So we've been open almost a year. It was
April 1 year, huh?
Yeah. We had a soft opening in February or March of last year. But officially, April 1st was when we opened.
That's awesome. Okay. What are some...
Andy's doing good.
I know, he's doing great.
Like 10 minutes.
Over 5?
I think so. It's been a while.
I don't know over 5, but it's probably been more than what I did, my personal record. So
it's about to be 5.
Nice.
Holy cow.
That's really good.
Like your survival instincts kick in.
Yeah.
So to keep it kind of interesting, what I'm doing today is I've never done the what do you call it when you go hot? Hot to cold?
It's called the contrast therapy. You go from hot to cold.
Okay.
Contrast therapy. Here we call it the fire and ice.
Okay.
So going from the sauna into the plunge.
And that's kind of like in the logo, huh?
Yeah. So that's where we got the colors from.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
To symbolize the ice, the fire. Orange symbolizes wellness. So that's where we got the idea for the colors.
What about the name Cocoon? Like,
that's an interesting one. It's funny. I don't know if you remember a movie. I think it was back in the '80s called Cocoon.
Okay. No, I was born in '93, so.
Yeah. So you guys are younger than me, but it was a movie in the '80s where a group of old people, if I remember correctly, like some aliens landed on Earth, and they brought like some cocoons-looking things. Okay. And the old people discovered them, and they would go in there, and they would come out rejuvenated.
Oh, wow.
So
How long did you say to wait before
You can rinse now with cold water and then just dab. Let your body warm itself up. Yep, cold water rinse if you want to. Just that, and that's just to get the plunge water off of you.
So I was saying that I'm gonna do, to keep it interesting, since it's not my first time. What I'm gonna do, my first is gonna be the fire and ice experience, which is I'm gonna get in the sauna. I'm gonna be there for like 15 minutes to get pretty warm, and then I'm gonna jump into the cold plunge. I think I've seen it. I saw this one show from Zac Efron, like Down to Earth, where they did something similar.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna do that myself, and then I'll leave you guys to it. Andy did great for his first time. Like my first time, I only did like not even a minute. My personal record's 2.5, and then he just crushed that by double. He was there like over 5 minutes. So let me go ahead and
you're good.
Get ready so I can get in the sauna.
So initial 30 seconds, like you said, those are the absolute worst. After that, you control your breathing, it gets better. But those first 30 seconds, man, you feel, I think your body senses danger.
Yeah.
It's like you freak out.
Yeah, that's exactly what it does. It's your sympathetic nervous system kicks in because your body thinks it's dying, so it's going to react by kicking in your sympathetic nervous system. That's why you start feeling that rush, that initial rush.
Man, it was good though. I liked it a lot. I mean, right now I'm still shivering, but I feel good though. You can definitely feel the dopamine rise, the secretion of dopamine, the good feel hormones. So you feel awake too.
Yeah.
Where did you guys leave off before?
When we first opened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when was that?
April 1st of last year.
Okay.
So we've almost been open a year. Yeah, and it's a niche market, especially in El Paso, something new to El Paso. The first time I tried it was actually in Tempe. When I was trying to get ideas for the business, I went to Tempe because they have a place there with saunas, cold plunge, and that's the first time I had tried it. I only lasted 2 minutes though.
Dude.
Yeah, 5 minutes. You did really good.
I think I just told myself, Rafa said, 30 seconds to 5 minutes. I was like, I'm going to go for the 5 minutes.
For the 5, right? Yeah, and at the minute mark, your endorphins start to kick in, so it doesn't get so bad.
So is the fact that I have never done this before the reason why I'm still shivering, or is this normal for anyone?
So the more you do it, you do become a little cold adapted, so you might not shiver as much. But as far as the mental aspect, it's always going to suck. You never look forward to it, no matter how often you do it. You always try to find something to get your mind away from thinking about doing the plunge. Yeah, but you're still beginning the benefits, and we actually want the shiver because you're shivering now. That's your body warming up naturally, so you're burning calories as you sit there shivering.
Yeah.
So that's what we want. Yeah.
Like I mentioned, I felt like when I already suffered, the worst part, I might as well get all the benefits. But you said after 1 minute, it's enough to get the majority of the benefits.
So about 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, at the 1 minute mark, your endorphins kick in, and it doesn't hurt as much. Yeah,
okay.
That's when you kind of settle down, and you're like, okay, this isn't too bad. Your hands and your feet keep hurting throughout the entire process.
Yeah.
Because that's just all the blood leaves your extremities and goes to your core. That's
what's
completely normal.
What's the most that you've lasted?
The most I've done is 5 minutes. 6 minutes. 6 minutes is the most I've done. Yeah.
6 minutes. Mm-hmm. So how long did I do? I did like 5.
Like 5:30, 5:40.
And at what point is it like not good to stay there like longer than what?
So a lot of it depends on the temperature of the water. If the water is 50 degrees, you can stay in there longer, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
But at this temperature, you stay in there 15 minutes, you might start getting a little hypothermia. So
okay.
I would say 5, 6 minutes is about good.
Okay.
At this temperature, especially the way you did it, up to your clavicles, Some people will sit in there, but just their legs.
Yeah.
So they're sitting straight up. None of their upper body's in there, so they can last a little longer.
Okay.
But the way you did it, 5-6 minutes in a single session, because the recommended is 11 minutes minimum per week. So you
Okay.
can break that up into several sessions.
And so right now Roland's doing the sauna, the infrared sauna, and then he's gonna jump in there.
Yep.
Does it suck a lot more out there? Like it's way worse? Or?
Well, yes and no, because you get so hot in there that you actually look forward to getting in the cold.
Okay.
But once you get in the cold, the contrast is so much that I think it hurts a lot more.
Really?
Yeah, instead of just going straight to the cold. Some people might get a little dizzy going from hot to cold, but the benefits are great of contrast therapy. You get the best of both worlds.
That's good.
Yeah.
You mentioned that it's a niche market.
Uh-huh.
So what kind of people do you usually get? You get a lot. I know you get a lot of athletes. I know a lot of the people that train MMA with us. They come here.
Right.
So what do the demographics look like?
So I think for now that's the majority. People who train on a regular basis. But in reality, this is for everybody. It can be your regular gym rat or your stay-at-home mom.
Right.
We have a few of those as well. Because the sauna is meant for everybody.
Right, and that's the reason why I asked, because I feel like yeah, there is a niche market, but what do you think is keeping people from so people who, is it just lack of awareness that this is around?
Yeah.
Because I know that there's a lot of people that could benefit from this, and they I don't think they hear about this stuff enough.
Right.
Sure, you hear cold plunge and they just think, well, I need to either live where it's extremely cold and set it up outside, or, but I think that it had never occurred to me, at least, to look up a place, that I didn't know that places like this existed.
Right.
So do you think that's part of the reason why?
Yeah. I think that's probably the major part is the awareness,
Right.
like you said. Yeah, getting the information out there, getting people exposed to the benefits of the individual therapies, and along with awareness, the knowledge of the benefits. Right. So people hear about it, they're like, yeah, but they hesitate. There's some hesitancy there because they don't know of the potential benefits they can get trying this out.
But once they do it, they get hooked, right? Because
exactly.
they start coming back because they obviously, I know I'm going to be back.
Right.
I'm pretty sure you're going to see me here tomorrow.
For sure. Yeah, once they try it, like you said, they get hooked. That feeling you're going to get is going to be, it's addicting.
So when you opened, you said April of last year.
Uh-huh.
So what did you start with? Did you start with everything, or did you only start with the cold plunge?
No, so we had the saunas, the cold plunge, and the boots set up from the get-go. The IV came on a little later after we got all the insurance and all that squared away. So that came on maybe 6 months after opening.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some of the challenges that you faced, to people watching out there that want to start their own thing, and what are some obstacles that you came across that you if you were to talk to your younger self, or well, not to your younger self, but a year ago, or when you started this project, which might have been way before, how long did it take you when you actually started, thinking about this project? Was that like a year prior to April?
No, I would say I started thinking about it in November, was when the concept came about.
Okay.
November, December, we started purchasing equipment, and then everything from there. April is when,
So from that very start, what are some obstacles that you faced that you today would tell you back then, like, hey, you might want to avoid this or do this way instead of this way.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of learning along the way.
Right.
A lot of painful lessons because my background is not in business. So I knew very little about business. I would just say, do your research. But after that, just take the plunge, literally.
There you go. Yeah.
And jump in with both feet, and just go.
But you know what? I think that's a really, really good point that you brought up. Do your research. I think that a lot of people, they have this this mentality and this. It's not wrong, but they have this idea of the best way to learn is by trial and error.
Right.
But that's actually the most expensive school there is because trial takes time and error. It can ruin you, right? And most of the time, people, the goals that people are pursuing, there's usually someone out there who's already done something similar, right? So
right.
Yes, you do learn from your mistakes, but they don't need to be your mistakes, right? You can literally shave off a lot of years just by reading a book or looking at what someone did to do what you want to do, right?
Right.
And it really it can really put you up to speed, on your own business.
Right.
So I think that's a really good point, to do your research, and that's something that I tell people a lot too. So I don't know if you mentioned that you watch a few of the podcasts.
Right.
So one of the first businesses that I started on my own was a clothing brand, and I do have a few people ask me a lot about that, like how do I start a clothing business, and I tell them, like, for more than anything, don't just start, like, but don't wait too long either, right? You want to get things moving, but not a lot of people go into something, with that mindset of, I'll just, as I make mistakes, I'll learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's not the way to do things.
Yeah.
But so after you opened on April, did you still face other challenges upon opening your business?
I think the biggest is just getting the word out. That's probably been the biggest ongoing challenge, just making people aware.
Right.
And we're starting to more and more trying to get athletes in here, like you mentioned. So we sponsor a few fighters. Just last Sunday, we had some Olympian sprinters in here from
nice.
From France. Yeah, we had a group of eight of them that came in just to try out the services. So it's just getting the word out, because
right.
once people try it, they're gonna like it.
Yeah.
So that's been the biggest challenge for sure.
And have you had any? What are you doing as far as marketing, other than the social media?
That's about it. It's pretty grassroots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're obviously definitely gonna get your name out there. A lot of word of mouth, but these guys that we work with too. The marketing hunters are great. They've
mm-hmm.
done a lot of. They're also working with the aquarium here at El Paso too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the new one at
right.
Solana. The shop's at Solana.
Right. Yeah, and they definitely know their stuff.
Yeah.
And completely unbiased opinion. I'm not a current client of them, but I've seen other marketing companies here in El Paso, and I'm not going to mention names, but there's one that for one of the businesses that I am involved with, that I compare, and it's like, man, like, these guys know what they're doing, definitely. That's something that, but dude, this is something that, like you said, it's not around in a lot of places. Well, definitely not in El Paso, and I think a lot of people don't know enough about it. And I've seen Victor, on his videos,
Right,
the
right.
ones that he posts, and he gets in, and I keep telling myself, I wanted to come, but like I told you, dude, it was something that was really out of my comfort zone, and
Yeah.
but it was good, dude. I really liked it. What is something that you would want to tell young entrepreneurs that want to start? Like, if there's something that you would want to sum up in like a couple of sentences, or something that you would actually tell your younger self.
Not to hesitate. Once you get an idea, that little spark, like we mentioned before, research, make a plan, and then just go for it. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate too much, because then, time goes on, you start losing interest maybe. So once that spark, once you get that spark, just go with it. Grow with it from there.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. I think. How long is he supposed to be in there?
He's been there. Okay. Yeah, just enough to where he'll feel the contrast. Yeah, he looks nice and sweaty now. So just a quick rinse.
Over there in the shop?
Uh-huh. And a lot of what they recommend is, as soon as you get in, is to dunk your head in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as soon as you get in, dunk your head. And what that does is it gets that dive reflex. That's what it's called. When you hit cold water, you gasp for air. So dunking your head in as soon as you get in gets rid of that dive reflex.
Yeah.
And it lets you settle in a lot faster than going in slowly.
Yeah.
It's not easy though. It took me a while before I could start dunking my head as soon as I get in.
Man. And I don't think I got up like to my neck. I was trying to get my clavicle, but I did that a little bit late, and I was already like controlling my breathing.
It was like starting over, right?
And I was like, man, like there's a little bit here that I forgot. And I would try to get in, and it would feel crazy cold again. And I was
so you start over. And one of the benefits of these is it circulates the water. So even if you're in there sitting still, the water keeps circulating, so you don't get to build a little thermal barrier.
Okay.
So if you're in a regular bathtub with ice, you sit in there and you don't move, you actually build a little barrier, so it doesn't feel as cold. Right. These won't let you. It keeps circulating that water, so you feel cold throughout the entire.
That's crazy. Yeah. So that the heat transfer, right? It doesn't. Yeah. You get the water. It keeps going around your body. Right?
Yeah. You don't get a chance to warm up. Oh, he actually dunked his head.
You guys know we normally have the shots or some sort of challenge. So today's challenge, Rafa is going to be answering some questions while in the cold plunge.
Try that.
Let's see if he can actually hold his breath.
Well, he's supposed to be the veteran at this, so.
This level 11 shot? Level 11, yeah. Because we only have to 9 on the other one, so this is definitely a shot.
So, how often do you do it, though?
Not as often as I should as of late. Used to do it every day.
Every day?
Yeah. It's probably been about a week since I've done it.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's gonna hurt. All right. So I'll try to duck my head as soon as I get in. Get that dive reflex out of the way.
Holy shit.
Dang.
Let us know when you're ready, Rafa, because I know first couple seconds, to catch your breath.
All right, I think I'm good.
Alrighty, perfect. So obviously right now you're self-inducing stress, right? But in life we have certain stressors that I feel like kind of defines us as entrepreneurs and successful people in general. What would you say have been what is your take on that? Like, I guess, like, hardship or, certain situations like shaping you into the person that you're today, and particularly as a business owner that has made you successful?
Just getting over that self-doubt. The military was a big part of it.
Yep.
Because you do face a lot of challenges there. So learning to overcome those challenges, you just start to get accustomed to
getting in that mindset where you can overcome. And I would say that's the biggest thing, just getting over that self-doubt. Confidence, have confidence in yourself, and just do it. Don't be afraid to try new things. Like this plunge.
I think like more than like the actual physical benefits of it. I think it takes a lot of guts. Like even like Andy said.
I think that's the biggest benefit that you get. The fact that you're doing something that you really don't want to do, and that's something that we were talking about before starting the podcast today. But about that other podcast, who did you say it was?
Huberman, Andrew Huberman.
Right, and they talk about a part of the brain that grows when you do things that you really don't want to do. Right, and I think at the end of the day, that's the name of the game, because it's like that saying goes, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life, right? So you're either going to pay for the bill now or you're going to pay for it later.
Yeah.
Right.
I see like a couple common denominators. We're all like martial artists, like you and I were in the military, like those are the type of things that set you up as a, like a minority, like define you, like, things that very few people do. And then you tend to see, also the benefits of it, like being able to start a business, successfully, like going, like into the military, then transferring to the, like the health aspect of things, and I mean close to retirement, and like you're gonna retire and already own a business. So Andy, like starting a clothing brand, so you see those little things within your crowd. Do you see a lot of people that do this? Do you have a tendency of seeing like successful people? Is there a correlation, between like people that do this kind of stuff and their success?
You talking about like the cold plunge, or?
Yeah, the cold plunge. Yeah.
It's a mixed bag, actually. And you would think, because we've had some fighters here before, that you would think mental toughness is a big part of it, right? But they've lasted maybe 20, 30 seconds. And on the other hand, we have a member, she's a mother of 3. She comes in here and knocks out 3 minutes like nothing. So it's kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the people that come here, like, they usually... They're already kind of used to doing things that are out of their comfort zone, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
That, and they're not afraid to try new things.
Right. They got that risk taker mentality, right? Like that's a big factor in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything that you like to share while in the in the shivering cold with our audience? Tell us more about the Cocoon, like the space, anything that you'd like to share with the audience.
So I guess just to highlight some of our offerings or services. We do offer memberships to get that consistency, to keep people coming. If there's hesitancy to commit to a membership, we do offer walk-ins as well. Just drop in and try it once, see what you think. Or we do offer kind of an in-between, a punch card, so you pay for a certain number of services to come in, try the services without having to commit to initial membership. Sundays is our big day. Rehab Sunday, we offer a free yoga class at 12:30. And the yoga instructor, actually, she trains at Elite and at Zen.
That's Adriana, right?
Adriana,
yep,
right.
I know.
Oh, she's
jiu-jitsu. She's a really good striker from what I've seen on her video.
Yeah, she is.
She's our yoga instructor, and that class is free at 12:30 on Sundays. And that's just to offer a different aspect to recovery.
Yeah, the mental aspect of these as well. Huh?
Mental and your mobility.
Your mobility, yeah.
Yep, stretching out, mobility. So just trying to get a good mix of recovery services.
And like I was saying, like earlier too, I'm a numbers guy, and it makes total sense. You definitely get a discount, when you go on the membership basis, and you can really use it a lot, and it'll make total sense. And kind of like what Andy does, with his clients as well, it kind of holds you to actually using it, or holds you to actually, you know, like doing it, because then you'll see the results and you'll stick to it a lot more.
Yeah,
So-
it makes you accountable for sure.
Yeah.
So talk about commitment from the owner of the company,
Yeah.
giving out the promotions.
I don't know that I would have been able to answer questions like that while in there.
Talk,
man.
Yeah,
just
it's-
talk.
It's crazy. Well,
It's been what, like 5?
so
Yeah, I think you did 5 times.
So Rafa, thank you.
Thank you. Tell us again. So what's your handle on Instagram for its EP Cocoon? Or
Yeah,
what?
at EP Cocoon. For
Okay.
the business for sure.
And then are you guys on TikTok yet?
No, not TikTok. So currently just Instagram.
Okay. And again, it's at 4046, right?
4640.
4640 Doniphan Drive, El Paso, Texas. You guys need to come check it out. And is there anything else that you wanted to say before we end the podcast here?
No, just thank you to you guys for sure.
All right, no, thank you for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having us. It was an amazing experience. I had done it before, but never done that part. And just like, you know, the conversation was amazing. Look forward to continue to show up here, and hopefully, you know, we get to share this with a lot more people.
Yeah,
Paso.
definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you, Rafa.